Squirrels. Love them, hate them, can't get away from them. Actually, of course you can, they're not all over the British Isles, but I have to say, any species of squirrel in the back garden for me is a welcome neighbour. They can be a little bit annoying if they take all of your bird food and they keep the birds away from your feeders. There's a way to address that. Here, of course, we're talking about grey squirrels, which are a non-native species. Some may add the word invasive, non-native invasive species, originally from North America, but they're ubiquitous. They're all over the British Isles now, apart from Scottish Highlands and most of Scotland, in fact, and then one or two pockets around the UK where red squirrels still persist. But whether it's red squirrels, which of course, if you're very lucky, you've got in your neighbourhood, or grey, both can make the most of a squirrel feeder. It's a little structure like this, which looks like there's no way in because birds generally can't get in there. That's the point. But squirrels learn to lift the lid and go inside, and you can get bags of proprietary squirrel food, or just put hazelnuts in, or shell peanuts on the shell. Put a pile of that inside there. The visual cue and the scent is enough to attract the squirrels. Pop it on the tree or on a fence. Squirrel comes in, sits on there, fiddles about, oh hello, and it's quite funny. I've often watched red squirrels where I stay with my partner up in Cumbria, with their head in and their bottom out, and they're just stuffed in there feeding away. It's beautiful to watch. You can cater for squirrels too by providing a home. A squirrel box. Any large box with a large hole will do, but this is particularly designed for squirrels, with red squirrels in mind. If you look, it's got two entrances, one here and one in the front, and they love that, not least because they can get in from the side like this, they can get out from there if somebody comes in that they don't want, and it's basically an escape route, two ways into the same home. And they'll bring their own nest material. They'll gather strips of bark and dry leaves to stuff in there and make a suitable place to rest. Squirrels don't hibernate as such. Sometimes people have thought that they do because they bury food away, but actually when they're burying food, which they do whenever there's a surfeit of resource available, they go to find that later on when the months are leaner and the food resource has dropped. And that's one of the reasons, funnily enough, when you do feed squirrels from a feeder like this, they'll often spend hours burying the food around the garden, regardless of the season. They're just responding to a trigger, a natural trigger that generally only occurs in nature during the autumn months when there's a lot of nuts falling off trees. If you provide nuts all through the year, they'll think it's a great time to keep on burying. But bear this in mind, they're also planting trees.